Hey guys, welcome to Technically Rich. My name is Sammy. Okay, so on this video, we are going to talk about supply and demand zone. Supply and demand zone. Now, basically, the market moves from zone to zone. Okay, market moves from zone to zone, and yes, so when the supply zone is broken, it must be retested, and if the market respect the broken supply, now can become it becomes a demand zone after the retest and the respect of that very zone. And same as when a demand zone is broken, it must be retested, and when the price retest and respect it, it becomes a supply zone. Now, supply and demand are same thing as support and resistance. Okay, so you can write this down. Supply is same thing as resistance. Demand is same thing as support. Okay, now the definition of support I gave earlier is said support is the price range where buyers steps into the market to prevent the price of a coin from going any lower. Open bracket demand and close brackets. Okay, so that means if you're writing it down. Okay, so resistance is the price range where sellers steps into the market to prevent the price from going any higher. Open bracket supply and then close bracket. Okay, so now you can see that supply is same thing as resistance, and then demand is same thing as supply. Demand is same thing as support. Okay, so let's see how this looks like. I think so. All of these charts right here, we have the market moving from zone to zone. Markets always moving from zone to zone. We have markets always moving from zone to zone, but we are going to focus on crypto. So if you really want to spot a supply or demand zone, you should be looking at a bigger time frame. So let's say we're working on the weekly time frame. This is an Ethereum BTC. We're working on the bigger time frame. So now, from what I've discussed, what I've mentioned earlier, I said the market moves from zone to zone, and when supply is broken and retested and respected, it turns to demand, and when a demand is broken, retested and respected, it turns to supply. So it's the same thing as when your support is broken, retested and respected, turns to resistance, and then when your resistance is broken, retested, and then it turns to support. Okay, so the same principles here. So since you already know that you're going to be buying from support and selling at resistance, so you're going to apply the same thing. You buy at demand and then you sell at supply. Okay, so I said the market moves from zone to zone, right? So now let's see this zone. Let's see this area. Okay, trying to. Okay, this is the weekly time frame. So why I'm doing this on the weekly time frame is because you'll be able to see big movement right here. So I'm doing tip of this very candle, then tip of the week of this candle. So you can see the first tip of this candle also touched the tip of this one, so it means that I'm having a valid area there. So I then can get my rectangle and make it like this to the future. Okay, make it like that to the future. Alright, so now you can see the same two horizontal lines. You can see how the market is being contained a little bit in this, this area here. Okay, so alright, so right here we still have, now I've gotten the demand, so this is my demand zone here, and then let me get the supply. Now while doing this, make sure you are spotting out a place where the market has touched at least twice. Now this is the first touch, and then this is the second touch. The first time this market touched here, it bounced up. The second time it touched here, it bounced up. So this is a valid demand zone. Okay, so first you should know that demand is where demand zone is where the big buyers are located, right? The big buyers are located, and supply is where the big sellers are located. You know what buyers and sellers does in the market. Buyers create demand for the market, and they make the value of the coin to rise, or the value of the currency to rise, and sellers create supplies in the market, and they make the currency to drop in value. Okay, so this is a demand zone, so I'm trying to get a supply zone now, and I'm going to make sure this touches 2 or more area. So I'm going to make use of this candle, first touch right there. So I'm making use of this candle here, right here, first touch on tip of the candle, then second touch on the tip of the wick of that candle. Right now you can see touching this completely, and also containing, you can clearly see that the market has not been able to close above this upper line for a long time. So I can now take my rectangle, then I may decide to do the future. Okay, so I have my demand zone, my supply zone right here. First touch, market came down, moved up. Second touch, market came down. Now this is another, this is like the third touch, and the market finally came down. Okay, so first came down, second it was rejected, came down, third, and third one finally made its way down to the demand zone right here. So this is my valid supply and a valid demand. Now look at where the supply was broken, and look at where it was retested and the market moved up. So now you see that this previously a supply level or supply zone has now turned to a demand zone right here. You see where the market broke out from here, retested, and then moved back up. That means finding support on this, turning this into a demand zone, and then came back to the side again, and then they still buyers still push. So it means that buyers have shifted down to this area now. You get, so whenever a supply is broken, retested, and respected, just like this, that supply area turns to a demand. Okay, turns to a demand. Okay, so here is another, trying to get another supply, tip of this candle, and then tip of the wick of the candle. Alright, so you can see for yourself how it is making sense, right? Just I did this with this, and then see how the price has been respecting this, this area, this zone. Okay, so I can take my, see, look at this area. Yeah, this thing is now acting as a supply, but look at right here, it was acting as a demand. All right, here also. Okay, so you can see the market, truly the market moves from zone to zone. Okay, the market moves from zone to zone. Okay, so let me just draw my triangle, my rectangle right from right here to the future. Okay, so you can see that market has gotten to a new supply zone, and since it has tried this the first time, then the second time, and then this is like the third trial of this area. So I'm still expecting the market Ethereum to drop back down to 0.02185 before moving back up again. That is if we are not going to see a breakout, I mean a breakthrough from this level right here. Okay, so if at all Ethereum comes down to this area and finds support here without breaking through this area, then I might decide to buy from here down to like right here. Okay, so if you are looking here, your stop loss should be around here. Okay, but if Ethereum decides to break this demand and then retest it, turns it back into a supply, then you should be looking for buying at around this area here. Okay, at around this area. This is a more stronger demand zone here. So alright, so that is that for supply and demand. Okay, so see you guys on the next video. Thank you.